Alright, today I'm going to show you a complete beginner tutorial for HeyReach. This is going to be literally everything that you need to know in order to use HeyReach to automate LinkedIn connection requests, LinkedIn messages, or the sending of emails completely from start to finish. I've sent something like 20,000 messages inside of HeyReach and booked 3 to 4 to 5 meetings per month on average over the last 2 years of using the tool. So it's fair to say that I've pretty much discovered what moves the needle and what, quite frankly, is just a waste of time and what you should avoid doing inside of HeyReach. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set up your HeyReach account completely from start to finish and actually start reaching out on LinkedIn, whether you've used it before or whether it's your first time using HeyReach. Anyways, let's jump right into it. The first thing we need to talk about is signing up for a HeyReach account. If you want to get the best discounted price to HeyReach, feel free to use the top link in the description down below. I'd really appreciate it. It will help out my channel a lot. And after you sign up for a free account with HeyReach, your account would look something like this. Now, the first thing that we need to do is set up the account so that our LinkedIn profile is connected to HeyReach so that we can start the process of automating connection requests. The way that we'll go about that is by navigating on the left-hand side of the page to the LinkedIn Accounts tab. Over here, we can click on Connect Account in the top right-hand corner. And in this case, I very much recommend that we log in using the third option, which says Login with Extension. For this, all we need to do is just install the HeyReach Chrome extension. As soon as you do that, all you need to do is click on Login with Extension. It'll take a couple of seconds to populate, and in this case you need to choose which conversations will be loaded into HeyReach. Since the chances are you will have other colleagues that manage your account from time to time as well, I recommend to track only conversations started from HeyReach. So in this case you can just select that, or you can track all previous conversations as well, and then select the country where you're based out of. So in my case, by default, it shows the United Kingdom. And then I can click on Yes and Connect. As we can see over here, my account has been successfully connected. If we want to connect our LinkedIn Sales Navigator or any sort of other LinkedIn Premium account, all we need to do is just click on the 3 dots. And over here, you should be able to see a button which says Connect Sales Navigator. That will enable you to access some other features. Now, if your LinkedIn profile has a paid LinkedIn Sales Navigator or a LinkedIn Premium account, it should pop up on the right hand side over here, enabling you to click the button to connect Sales Navigator separately as well. That's super intuitive, just click on that button in case, but if not, don't worry about it because we've already connected our account. The first thing we need to worry about over here is to click on Configure Limits, and we should be able to see all the different settings here. So first of all, we can select the senders. In my case, I'm just going to select myself as the sender, but if you have multiple users within your team, you can select them using this toggle over here as well. After that, you can regulate the number of follows, messages, emails, connection requests, and so on that are all sent on a day-to-day basis. From my personal experience, I recommend capping connection requests to about 15 per day. Now, I recommend setting max profile views to about 25 per day and max post likes to about 20 per day, and make sure that all of these other settings, including messages, do not exceed 20 or so. Worth noting that you don't really need to be too obsessed with regulating these settings because HeyReach has an algorithm which controls all of these numbers for you, so that protects you from LinkedIn detecting any sort of suspicious automated activity, which sometimes may lead to your account being flagged or blocked or anything of that sort, so don't worry about it. And after that, you can click on Save Settings. If you ever want to purchase more seats, all you need to do is just click on Purchase Seats over here, and that will enable you to purchase more seats. Oh, and yeah, spoiler alert, code TIMMAGIC at checkout gets you over 20% off, so go use it. Okay, congrats. By now, you should know how to connect your LinkedIn accounts, and next up, the next challenge will be importing leads. In order for you to import leads, you just need to navigate on the left-hand side of the panel to the Leads section, and over here, you can click on Add Leads in the top right-hand corner. The first option is the LinkedIn search bar. So let's imagine for a second I'm trying to prospect into the Lululemon account. I don't have a paid LinkedIn Sales Navigator license. I may just go on the Lululemon page, click on 10k plus employees, and in front of me over here, I should see a list of everyone that works at Lululemon. In that case, I can click on second over here, which will filter for only second degree connections. In other words, all these people I have a mutual connection with. And what I can do with this search is just copy and paste the URL of the search from the very top of the screen straight into the LinkedIn search bar over here. So if I select this option inside of HeyReach, I can click on continue, copy and paste the search URL and select myself as the sender. And in this case, I can just call this Lulu leads, and then I can click on start importing. This will automatically scrape all of the people from this search that I've just created completely for free inside of LinkedIn. And I very much recommend for you to try this out if you don't want to upgrade to a paid LinkedIn account. And you can see that all of these lovely leads like Virag, Jubin, Kate, and Brittany will all be imported into HeyReach using this search query URL that I've just imported here. And then I can click on start importing. Now, if we head back into the leads tab over here, the second option is to use Sales Navigator leads. So in that case, let's imagine for a second that we just filtered LinkedIn Sales Navigator based on different criteria like job titles, industries, keywords, and everything of that sort, like you can see in the screen here. All we need to do is copy and paste the URL of the search by clicking on continue here. And again, we can copy and paste the search URL of the LinkedIn Sales Navigator search, and automatically we'll scrape that list directly from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now, worth noting that it's not a good practice to be scraping more than 1,500 leads per day. So if you want to upload 10,000 prospects or around that, HeyReach may give you an error message saying, hey, don't scrape more than 2,500 or 1,500 leads per day. Alternatively, you can also upload any searches from LinkedIn Recruiter. Once again, after you filter inside of LinkedIn Recruiter, all you would need to do is just copy and paste the URL of the search from LinkedIn Recruiter into the account here, and it will automatically scrape all of the candidates that you want to reach out to. So let's imagine for a second that you log into your LinkedIn account. You can scroll on the left-hand side of your feed over here. You will say events. If you click on those events, you can see a bunch of different events that are taking place. You can see some events that are recommended for you. And let's say we find an event like this one where it talks about fintechs, and let's imagine for a second that we want to scrape everyone that attended this event. In this case, all I need to do is just copy the URL of that event page, go into my HeyReach account, choose the LinkedIn event attendees as the option, click on continue, and over here I can copy and paste the exact URL of that event, and automatically it will start scraping all the people that attended this event. If that's not impressive enough just yet, let's imagine for a second that you have a competitor or a thought leader in your space who gets a ton of engagement that we are of course jealous of. And let's just imagine for a second that we want to retarget and reach out to every single person that likes or comments on a specific thought leader's posts. All we need to do is head over to LinkedIn, find a nice post by someone. So let's imagine we've got Hugo over here from Triggerify. I can just click on the three dots at the top of his post, click on copy link to post, and I can go into HeyReach, select LinkedIn post reactors over here, click on continue, copy and paste the post URL and say Hugo's post retargeting. And I can select myself as the sender over here, and voila, we can start importing those leads. And this way we can reach out to everyone that engaged with Hugo's posts about social signals. Now, if you're a bit more boring and let's say you have a list of people that attended a specific conference, or a list of leads from your CRM or from a messy spreadsheet or from wherever else, like Apollo maybe, all you need to do is just click on import from CSV, click on continue, and over here you can just basically upload a specific spreadsheet. So as you can see in my case, I'm just going to enter my spreadsheet here, download it as a CSV, and then as soon as I'm inside of HeyReach, I'm just going to drag it over here. And as soon as you've uploaded the file, it will ask you to map some fields. So for instance, we want to make sure that we map the LinkedIn person profile and the first name of the person. And based on that, at the bottom here, we can click on create empty list. And I'll just call this test Tim222 and click on confirm. And this way we should be able to see that we're now importing those leads. By clicking on import over here, this list will be automatically imported full of leads. Moving on, great. You know how to set up your LinkedIn account for success and how to connect it to HeyReach. We have already imported the leads, and now it's time to talk about the juiciest part of this entire process, which is building out a campaign. When I'm talking about campaigns, I'm talking about the automation of actions that you typically do manually on LinkedIn. For instance, viewing the profile of a lead, liking their post, sending them a connection request, sending them an email, or any sort of message that you send to a prospect after connecting with them. In order for you to start building out a campaign, all you need to do is navigate on the left side of the panel to campaigns. Over here in the top right hand corner, you can click on start new campaign and you can give it a name. I'll call this Tim's 5-kilometer PB question as an example. After that, I'm going to click on create over here. And this is where it's super important that we have imported the lead list already. So in this case, I'm just going to select a list. In this case, I've got test Tim222. I'm going to select those three options in the bottom right-hand corner to exclude leads that were contacted from HeyReach campaigns before, exclude any leads. A lot of the time, you don't want to be reaching out to a lead if the other SDR on your team already reached out to them, for instance. And then finally, you want to exclude leads contacted contacted by the same sender from other HeyReach campaigns. And if you want to create an exclusion list, it will be very, very similar. You will have to go into lead section over here and just import a CSV and just call it do not contact list. And then that way over here, you can apply a do not contact list to exclude any sort of prospects or companies from receiving your message. After that, we can click on continue and select the sender. In my case, I'm going to just be using my accounts because the other 4 accounts are at capacity already. And I'm going to click on continue in the top right hand corner. This is where we start building out the actual campaign completely from scratch. The first thing that you need to know is that you can choose from a variety of different templates. So if you click on import from templates, you can see a bunch of different template examples here. However, from my personal experience, let me be real with you, you don't want to be using templates. Just build it out completely from scratch. I'm going to show you all the logic that I use when I build this out. The first thing that you can do here is click on add action. Whenever I think about these actions, I always ask myself, what's the first thing we typically do manually before sending a connection request? Because a lot of the time, you just get people sending you a connection request and they haven't even seen your profile before. They don't even know what you're about and that kind of thing. So in this case, I very much recommend that the first action that you take is view the profile of the prospects. Now, the reason that we want to view someone's profile to start with is because a lot of the time people will get a notification like this where it says that a specific individual has viewed their profile on LinkedIn, and if the prospect has a paid LinkedIn premium account, it will say that, hey, Tim viewed your LinkedIn profile. In that case, it already sparks their curiosity about who this person is. So in this case, I will always view the profile of the person. If I'm not in too much of a rush, I will leave this to 2 days, and alternatively, I can change this to 12 hours, for instance, if I wanted to over here, until following up with the next action. The way that you create this campaign is basically by just clicking on add action, and then you select the next action. So in this case, after viewing the profile, we probably want to send a connection request, because if you look at my LinkedIn connection requests over here, for instance, I can just tell from a mile away that this person who's just saying, how are things in this crazy upside down world, is going to sell me on something. So for that reason, I don't like to send connection requests, because very rarely can you say something relevant, personalized, or interesting. And to maximize your chances of getting your connection request accepted, all you need to do is just leave the connection request blank. And then on the left hand side, you'll have one branch of actions, which will happen if the connection request is not accepted. And on the right hand side, you will have another branch in case if that connection request is accepted. Of course, if the connection request is not accepted, we can then add another action, for example, liking the post of the person, and maybe after that, sending them an email, for instance, right? And we can type in the email here. For example, we can say, hi, first name, how are you? In this case, there is always a fallback message that you need to draft as well, and the fallback message cannot have the custom variables. Worth noting that whenever you import any leads into HeyReach, these are some of the personalizations that are available. So first name will obviously be replaced by first name, company will be obviously replaced by company name, and so on. I personally recommend not using anything other than first name, because most of the time company name can have limited or INC or something like that as a part of it, and it just makes things quite messy. And when you are happy with a series of actions, you can just click on end. So in this case, it will end this branch after a connection request is sent. It's not accepted, we like a post, and then after 5 days, we just end the sequence. However, if the connection request is accepted, we may want to give it 2 more days, for instance, so we don't look too desperate in someone else's LinkedIn inbox. We can then click on add action and click on send message. And in this case, I'm going to type in whatever message I want to type in. So for example, hi, first name, what's your 5-kilometer PB? And obviously that means what's your 5-kilometer personal best? And of course, for the purpose of this demo, I think that's pretty decent at showing you some of the capabilities of just personalizing the first name. At the bottom, we can copy and paste the message, just remove the curly brackets and replace it with there. So this will be the fallback message. Hi there, what's your 5-kilometer PB? Which sounds nice and conversational as well. Between all of these messages that we send out, I very much recommend that we view the profile again, because this may signal to the person that, hey, we're interested. We're checking their certifications, their recent posts, their qualifications, their connections, or anything of that sort. And then we can leave it between like 2 days between actions. And once again, after that, we can send them a secondary message by clicking on add action, selecting send message, and then sending them another message. So for instance, any thoughts? And assuming that we're happy with a series of actions, we can click on end again. And the one thing to keep in mind here is if we want to increase or decrease the gap between the messages and the actions, we can just click on the action, click on the toggle here, and select the number of hours, for instance 12 hours between different events. After we're happy with the entire sequence, we can click on continue in the top right hand corner, click on I know what I'm doing, and click on launch campaign. Worth noting that in order for you to edit the campaign, the first thing that you would need to do is to deactivate the campaign by clicking on the toggle here and clicking on confirm to pause it, and then after that you can click on the edit button and it will enable you to edit the campaign. If you can't be bothered to build these campaigns out from scratch, because yes, it can take 5 or 10 minutes on average, I very much recommend you just click on the 3 dots here, click on duplicate, and you should be in a good position over there to just duplicate the entire campaign, and you can just add new leads to it and rename the campaign. Now, in total, over the last 1 year, my content on LinkedIn generated over 1 million impressions. That means over 1 million eyeballs on my LinkedIn posts, my LinkedIn profile, all of the fancy videos that I share and everything of that sort on LinkedIn. If you want to get the exact blueprint of how I went about starting to post on LinkedIn, how I handle my DMs and my direct messages with prospects on LinkedIn, just go check out the guide, which will be the top link in the description down below, and I'll be more than happy to overshare all of my insider secrets that took me over 4.5 years of outbound experience to learn completely from scratch. So guys, in the next section, I want to give you my top 5 tips when it comes to using HeyReach as a total beginner, and those are 5 little things that you can action starting from today so that you can see better reply rates using HeyReach. So the first thing that I already talked about in this video is that you do not need to send thoughtful connection request notes, and if I were you, just send connection requests completely blank without adding a note, because as you can see on my side, I have over 1,300 different connection requests waiting for me, and it's a lot easier to accept the connection requests that don't have a note, because otherwise it requires me to read through a bunch of connection request notes like this one here before then answering to whoever wants to connect with me. Now, the second tip is for you to space out each message by 2 to 3 days or more, because otherwise you will be too persistent with your messaging. And so whenever you draft your next campaign, just make sure that message 2 over here has at least a 2 to 3 day delay from message 1 that starts at the start of the campaign. Now, tip number 3, super intuitive, but don't pitch right after the connection request. Give it about 2 days or so after the connection request has been accepted. Only at that point do you message them. Unless you have a no-brainer offer, I recommend for you not to pitch the lead as the first message. Now, tip number 4, whenever you draft any sort of messages, you should be A/B testing them. So what I mean by that is, let's imagine for a second that we're sending a message over here. In the top right hand corner of every single message, you can click on add message variation, and that way you can test message A against message B. So in this case, let's say message A is any thoughts, and message B can be something like, do you want to see a demo? And that way, later down the line, when we look at campaign analytics in the dashboard, we can see which of the 2 messages resonates more and which of these 2 message types drives more replies. So in this case, we can always click on add message variation to A/B test the different variables, and I recommend you A/B testing message 1, message 2, and message 3. Now, tip number 5. If for whatever reason someone does not reply to you via LinkedIn, let's be real, the chances are it's because they haven't checked their LinkedIn account for a while, and maybe they're a lot more active in their email inbox instead. So for that reason, a lot of the time, let's imagine for a second that we send a connection request over here, and let's imagine that it's not been accepted yet. I recommend on the left side over here, if the connection request has not yet been accepted, you can click on add action, and you can use this beta function to add them to instantly. So in this case, you will first need to find the email of the prospect, and after that, let's say we give it a delay of just 1 hour, we can then over here add an action to add them to instantly, and then we can end the sequence. Now, of course, that would require for you to paste your own instantly API key over here, and there will be a separate video if you click over here on how you can actually set up your instantly account and how you can connect your API key. So assuming you're already using instantly for email sending, you could tie in HeyReach alongside your email outreach via instantly, and that way, if any leads do not reply to you via HeyReach, you can retarget them via email where they might be more active. So let's imagine you set up your HeyReach account, you imported the leads, you created a campaign, and now it's finally time for the best part yet, which is just awaiting the responses to come in from your campaigns. In order for you to track and monitor all of the responses, you need to go to the left side of the panel and click on the Uni-box. You can see in total over here, we have 61 prospects that have replied over here. So all I'm going to do is click here and click on unread, and over here, I can see all of the messages that have been marked as unread and have not yet been replied to. So in this case, I can always select all of them. And for instance, if this first lead we want to assign a tag to, we can click on edit tags and then just select the tag over there, and automatically it will apply to all the prospects that are over here. Alternatively, if you want to add any sort of other tags, for instance, follow up later or something of that sort, you can do that as well. For each individual lead reply, you can also click on the three dots and you can either archive it, mark it as read, or you can click into the message. As soon as you click on add leads to a list, you can create a list completely from scratch. So for instance, you can have a list of people that booked in a call, you can have a list of people that showed interest but didn't book in a call, and that way you can segment them into different lists inside of HeyReach. Now, the beauty of HeyReach, in my opinion, is that you can run campaigns on behalf of a lot of different LinkedIn profiles. If you're doing that as a part of your agency services, or simply if you have a large sales team, for instance, you can select a specific sender. So in this case, you can see blurred out 4 senders over here and then my profile. In this case, I can select myself and my colleagues, and that way we can filter through the right inboxes and reply to the right messages. Now, just as a quick example over here, I just had a lead reply to this question. I know that this person has visited my website, and basically as soon as that person visited my website, I send them a LinkedIn connection request saying, hey, random question, but how many times have you considered to join my Unlock Clay course? In this case, this person said a couple of times, and then that started a conversation with the lead. Now, I can always reply to any sort of replies from my prospects directly from the inbox inside of HeyReach over here, and that will automatically send a message via LinkedIn as well. Alternatively, if for whatever reason I want to reply natively from within LinkedIn, I can do that as well, but it just means that there is a little bit less visibility inside of HeyReach. Although if you click on refresh messages, you should be able to see all the new messages that you sent from your LinkedIn account as well. If you click into the integrations panel on the left side of the screen, you should be able to see the settings. So over here, the first thing that you need to be aware of is that you can create multiple workspaces. So for instance, if you have one for your sales team, one for your recruitment team, or anything of that sort, you can have multiple different workspaces. And in that case, in the top right hand corner, you can just click on your organization and you can switch from one organization to another seamlessly without having to have multiple different login accounts. If you head over to the members page over here, you can also click on invite members, and over here just select the admin or member access and enter the email address of other people that you want to invite into your workspace. I would very much recommend for you to head over to settings to notifications. So over here, all you need to do is just enable the toggle to be switched on for multiple replies being received across all campaigns, across all senders, to be notified every 6 hours, so you can get like 4 updates a day maximum. And over here you can input your own email address, the email address of your colleagues as well, so you guys are all in the loop and on top of your email notifications, so that you can get notified as soon as prospects reply to any of your messages via HeyReach, so you don't miss those. More than that, if you want to be notified whenever your Sales Navigator disconnects, your LinkedIn Recruiter account disconnects, or when a campaign finishes, you can enable those notifications as well. And for instance, as soon as someone tags a lead a certain way, you can also enable an email to be sent to you, so you're on top of that. And let's say if you have a tag for meeting booked, that way this can trigger the account executive in your team to start researching the prospect. Now, if we head over into the integrations page over here, we should be able to see all the fancy integrations that HeyReach has to offer. Now, some of my favorite integrations include Clay, which I've done a separate video about. There are also integrations with Instantly, RB2B as well. It's also very simple to set up HubSpot, Go High Level, Pipedrive, Close CRM, and all the other integrations, including Slack as well. So for that, all you need to do is just click on Connect Now, Connect Slack, and then it'll ask you for your Slack URL, for instance. And let me be real with you, I can't cover every single way that you can connect HeyReach to other third-party tools. However, chances are I'm probably still going to cover it in other videos on my YouTube channel, so make sure to tune in. One other thing to keep in mind is the fact that at the bottom left-hand corner over here, you have the bell icon, and if you click on that, you should be able to see all your notifications. It's quite important to check in at the very least like once a week, because HeyReach does a lot of webinars showing you how to use HeyReach alongside other platforms. So if you're interested in that, if you want to grow in your role, if you want to get better at lead generation, marketing, sales, whatever it is, chances are you could benefit from those, so keep an eye out on the notifications. And let's imagine for a second that you launched your campaign, it's been a couple of weeks, the campaign has finished, and now it's time for you to start analyzing analyzing and interpreting some of your stats from this campaign to know what worked, what didn't work, what to stop doing, and what to double down. So in this case, you need to navigate on the left-hand side of the panel to the dashboard, click on select senders, select your own account or whoever else's account that you want to see campaign statistics for. In this case, you can select all the relevant campaigns. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just selecting every single campaign over here that we ran so far. So in this case, you can also filter for a specific date range to see stats for a specific time period. So for example, for a specific week. In this case, for this demo view, you can see that I've sent 50 connection requests with 4 being accepted and 0 replies right now. But as you start sending more connection requests and so on, you should be able to see over here some of the statistics. You should be able to see the number of connection requests sent, the connection rate, the reply rate, and so on. If you look at my dashboard over here, you can see that since I connected my LinkedIn account to HeyReach this week, I've sent 307 connection requests with 123 of them being accepted. That's an over 40% connection acceptance rate. I would consider it a success if you have over 35% of people accepting your connection request. And then as far as message reply rate goes, you can see it's 33.3%, which obviously is a bit too early to tell, but it really depends on the type of messages, the type of audience that you're reaching out to. And more than that, the in-mail reply rate is good if it's above 30% or so. So in this case, you can see over here on the dashboard, the early signs are pretty good over here. And in this case, I can just review the campaigns and see which ones are best performing. Now, these are some of the stats on a LinkedIn sender level. If you want to also look at the stats on a campaign level, you can see all the campaigns over here right in front of you. They're going to be blurred right now with the senders being blurred and all of that, where you can see the performance when it comes to the connection acceptance rate, the reply rate, and the in-mail reply rate as well. It's about time that I introduce you to one of the newest features that HeyReach literally released just today as I'm recording this video. That feature is a two-way connection between HeyReach and Smartlead and Instantly. What that means for you is that assuming that you have an account with Instantly or Smartlead, all you need to do is head over into your HeyReach account. At the top of the screen over here, you should be able to see that you're now able to purchase email finder credits. So for instance, over here, I have 300 HeyReach credits. I can always click on buy more credits and you can see how much that will cost you over here. So for instance, for 1,000 credits, it costs $50. And as you build your sequences inside of HeyReach, let's say right now you send a connection request and on the left side, it's not been accepted for 5 days. You can now click on add action and you should be able to see the option to find the email of the prospect. So in that case, you can find the email using the HeyReach email finder credits, click on continue over here. And then if the email is found, you can then add a further action where you're able to then add the lead to an Instantly campaign. Worth noting that it's the exact same way that you can also add leads to Smartlead campaigns. So all you need to do is click on add action and you should be able to see a button there that says add to Smartlead. However, this 100% relies on you needing in the first place to buy some email finder credits so that you can find the email before then enrolling someone in an Instantly campaign. And for that, you need to have an Instantly campaign created inside of Instantly, and you just need to copy and paste the API key from Instantly directly over here. If you want a bit more information on that feature, all you need to do is just click on see how to connect here, and it will redirect you to a separate video which instructs you how to do that. And now moving on to my favorite feature that HeyReach has ever released, and that's the MCP feature. For those of you that may not be aware, MCP stands for the Model Context Protocol, and it's basically a fancy acronym that enables you to connect tools like HeyReach to your ChatGPT account so that you can instantly enroll leads by typing in enroll a lead inside of ChatGPT, and that will instantly enroll a lead inside of HeyReach. And the best part is that it's a two-way sync. And in order for you to start using the MCP feature inside of HeyReach, all you need to do is head over into HeyReach, click on the integrations tab in the bottom left-hand corner, select the HeyReach MCP server, click on connect now, and over here you'll be provided with your MCP key and the MCP connection URL. So all you would need to do is head over into your Claude account, click on your name in the bottom left-hand corner, click on settings, and then over here inside of your settings, you can select connectors, and in the connectors, you can then click on add custom connector. And over here, you can just give it a name. We'll call it HeyReach. And we need to copy and paste the MCP connection URL over here. So we're going to copy and paste that and click add. And within just a couple of seconds, we should be able to see that the HeyReach MCP has been added. We can now click on configure. And over here, we can enable all of these features to be switched on. So as a quick example over here, we should now be able to add leads to a campaign directly from Claude. We can also add tags to leads directly from Claude. We can can create webhooks, delete leads from certain lists. We can look up campaigns. We can pull up all the analytics of campaigns and do all of that funky stuff. And just to show you how this works, I can now click on new chat on the left-hand side of the panel here inside of Claude and say, tell me what's my best HeyReach campaign so far. And you can see that just within a couple of seconds, it now gathers all the information from the campaigns directly from HeyReach, because now the MCP connection enables us to access the HeyReach API. We gather all the stats. It now tells us the best campaigns with the best stats. It tells us how many leads are in that campaign, how many leads failed, the status of that campaign, and then it also then talks to us about some of the best campaigns aside from that. So in my opinion, the MCP use case of HeyReach is super underrated. I don't really know any other LinkedIn automation tools that have a native integration with Claude and all of these other apps. Now, as you could probably tell throughout this video, HeyReach is great when you know who your ideal prospects are and you know how you can send them personalized messages on LinkedIn. And in this video, maybe we mentioned the Clay software a couple of times. So if you heard about the hype around Clay, but you're yet to really understand what it can be used for in your business, I spent the last 2 years implementing Clay for a living, and I created a video where I walk you through the top 8 insane use cases for clay.com. So I highly recommend you go and check out this video over here that's just popped up on your screen. Anyways, I'll see you in that video. Have a good one.